I'll close with this, and then I'll give you one final point. So I was anti-life. I was pro-death. I was what we would call, I just feel like I'm supposed to share my testimony for a moment here. I grew up in a pro-life Catholic family. I was the oldest of 5 children, okay? And I was anti-life, pro-death. I started reading at a young age someone named Margaret Sanger and something called Malthusian eugenics. It started in Nazi Germany, and it determined, based upon evolutionary theory, not biblical truth, that there is evolution and certain races are more fit than others. I believe that. I also believe the myth and the lie that the world is overpopulated, that we're dealing with a scarcity of resources, and that to save and sustain human life on the planet, we needed to limit human life on the planet. I believe that. I argued this in high school. I was president of my high school, and I argued this repeatedly, and Christian kids would debate with me. And I would eviscerate them. And repeatedly, they would run out of the classroom in tears because they were right, but my argument was stronger. I then met a really cute pastor's daughter who was very pro-life. Volunteered in high school and college at pro-life pregnancy centers to help young women make the decision for life. And we started dating, should not have. She wasn't walking as closely with the Lord as she should have, and I didn't know the Lord. I was kind of a religious guy who grew up in Catholic church. Nothing bad happened to me. I don't have anything negative to say. I just didn't care. It was my fault. Nobody to blame. We started dating, and then we started debating life. And I'm like, no. Life doesn't begin at conception. Certain people aren't fit. They're a drain on society. There's a limit of resources. It should only go to people that are, really fit like me. And that's the way it always goes. We need more people like me. It was super humble. And so, we would argue, and she would argue with me, and she lost the argument every time. She was right. I was wrong. She gave me a Bible, and she decided she would stop arguing with me, and she said, you just need to read the Bible and argue with God. And so I started reading the Bible, and I realized I disagree on almost everything with God. Particularly that human life is sacred, that we're made in the image and likeness of God, and that human life and flourishing is God's command to be fruitful, multiply, increase in number, fill the earth, and subdue it. So now I'm fighting with the Bible. In college, I was working on a degree in speech and rhetoric and debate from the Edward R. Murrow School of Communication. I then went and got a master's degree in Bible. And I ended up getting picked to study under an African Marxist professor, a Marxist, and we would debate together for Malthusian eugenics, the teaching of Margaret Sanger, which was the founding of Planned Parenthood. And now I would take the debates into the college, and I would eviscerate the Christian students over and over and over. And then I'm reading the Bible, and it says in Romans 1, you are called to belong to Jesus Christ. And God saved me. And now I have to decide, am I going to submit to everything the Bible says, or am I going to continue to argue with the Bible? And God convinced me that the Bible is true. And I submitted and surrendered my mind and my heart and my will and my life to the scriptures. And I repented to Grace for arguing with her. If you want to know more about this, I wrote a book called Abort Abortion. I talk about the history of Planned Parenthood. It's a racist, despicable, murderous death cult funneled and fueled by Satan himself. And now that we have 5 children, including 1 child that we had a miscarriage tragically, and that child is with Jesus, and I can't wait to meet that child. I can't even imagine what in the world I was thinking. Now that I'm bop and I've got grandkids, I can't even fathom what I was thinking, being anti-life and anti-child. I don't even know who that man was. I can't even conceive of that. And what changed my heart and mind were these scriptures.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Pastor Mark. I've been teaching the Bible for more than 3 decades and head on constant collisions with woke culture. And I would love to get you more Bible teaching. 2 things you can do. Go ahead and watch the sermon in total and also subscribe to the channel. And I'll just keep sending you Bible teaching and we'll have a lot more fun together.